Oh, okay. Thanks. I was like, wait, what's this? Yeah, you all know me when it comes to technology. Bad. All right. So we're gonna deviate from the lecture a little bit in the beginning. We're gonna do a small meditation, which at first glance might not have much to do with the bhaktis. But later on, maybe next week when we go over the 6 limbs of Sharanagati and the premas, this actually might be another few weeks, actually, I'm going to be honest. So we'll just see. But it will make sense. Okay. All right. So everybody close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And begin by visualizing the most beautiful, wonderful life you can imagine. All of the positivity that you can imagine, all the ways that would make you happy. And now visualize your devata, visualize your guru, and hand them all of those hopes and dreams, all of that positivity, hand it to them and see that they are so happy to receive all of those hopes and dreams. And now tell them that as wonderful as a life you just imagined, they can make it infinitely more beautiful, infinitely more wonderful, infinitely more happy. And they have infinite ways to make that wonderful life happen. And to see them want to do that for you. This is their love for you. They want you to have the most wonderful, beautiful life. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may open your eyes. So, like I said, we're deviating a little bit because I felt like it. But also, it's so important that everyone remembers that our path is about a relationship between the Atma and Paramatma, the Jiva and Bhagavan. Relationship means two-way street. Okay, so even though we're talking about Shravana Bhakti, Kirtan Bhakti, Smadhana Bhakti last week, and it's about us expressing our love to the Lord, he also loves us. He also has bhakti for us. He does bhakta smadanam. His mind is always on the bhaktas. And as we want to make his life lovely, when we have our murti, we have the vigraha. Of course, we want Guruji to have a nice, lovely life. Imagine how much more they want that for us. The difference is they have the power actually to give us that most wonderful life. We can just give what is already his back to him. That's it. That's all we can do. But he's so humble that he accepts it. Yeah. And this positivity is this trust. We'll talk about this later in the 6 limbs of Sharanagati, but this trust that the Lord loves you and that he wants you to be happy. He wants you to be yourself. And he's always there protecting you. He's always there taking care of you. His mind never deviates from you. This trust must be there. Otherwise, the bhakti is just, these 9 forms of bhakti, it's just concepts. It's just another thing we get to learn. But that's not the point. The point is to experience this love relationship. It's not a one-way street. The Lord is not a diva, who loves to be adored by the masses, but doesn't know any of us, right? You know what I mean? Like Lizzo. I just don't. Some of you don't even know who that is. That's funny. Anyways, Lord is not like that. Okay, the Lord is very, very, very lovely, and he has bhakti, right? We have Bhagavan bhakti. We have devotion to the Lord, but he has bhakti. Someone asked Guruji many years ago, why does the Lord wear a tilak? Because that's weird, right? Because it's his feet, right? So why would he put a tilak on himself? Why would he draw his own feet on his own head? That's weird, right? Well, it's because the bhaktas placed his feet on his head, and out of his love for them, he reminds himself of their devotion to him, and he puts the tilak on also. Isn't that so beautiful? He does it for the love of his bhaktas, to be a little bit like us. Amazing, huh? And so bhakti is a tangible experience, okay? And we must have that positivity. We must have that trust. We must, like later on when we start talking about Sharanagati, we're like, oh, all is God's will. But that's not what Krishna taught Arjuna. He didn't be like, Arjuna, just sit here and do nothing, lay in the middle of the battlefield, people are running over you, whatever, just lay there and accept it. No, he said, do your duty. And if a part of our duty as a bhakta is to forge this relationship, to have this positivity. We have to live our life. If our duty was to be a doctor, we can't just sit in our room and magically the diploma of being a doctor will manifest. No, we have to do our part, right? So we have to have that positivity into our life and give it to the Lord and realize as much positivity as we put out there, as much effort as we put out there, he can make it 1,000 million times better. Right? So it's a two-way street. Okay? That's a relationship. Good. Did you like that meditation? Nice. Good.
Yes, that was super sweet. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're most welcome. I do recommend doing it often because it's so easy for us to be negative. That's the human brain is created to remember negative experiences 4 times easier than a positive experience. That is how we're programmed. We as spiritual people say, that's cool. That might be how I'm programmed biologically, but I have the control to change that. And so constantly putting out that positivity every time, everybody, every time you think of your guru, you think of the Lord, you think of Ma, and you feel whatever you feel, know that they feel 1,000 times more for you. So if you're just like, oh, Narsima, it's nice to see you. He's in ecstasy, my guy. He's in ecstasy. He's like, oh, Akash, I've been missing you. You see, it's so important. If you miss him just a little bit, his heart is breaking, longing for you. That is how the Lord is. That is how the guru is also. He just doesn't show it, because if he showed it, it'd be overwhelming to us. We wouldn't know what to do with it. Yeah. So like constantly put out this positivity every day, 20 times a day. Like that the Lord loves you and is so happy to look after you, so happy to protect you. It is his great pleasure. Okay. Nice. Now the philosophy. Okay, great. You all know me. Not my shtick. Okay, Navada Bhakti, Bhavas, and Premas. So last week we talked about Shravana Bhakti, and the importance of the glories of the Lord, and how it was the search. Kirtan Bhakti, it's the singing of the Lord's name in a group primarily, and it is about experiencing different paths. Smadana Bhakti, which is the constant remembrance of the Lord. And it is about the contemplation of the experiences which we have had at whatever place. Next is Padaseva Bhakti. Right, did we talk about Padaseva last week? No, we did. No. Okay, all right. So Padaseva, Pada means feet, Seva means service. So it's the service to the feet of the Lord. So chose a picture here of Ranganath, or Padmanabha Swami, to be 100% correct, with Lakshmi at his feet. And so very traditionally, we would say that only Lakshmi does Padaseva. This is extremely traditional, a very, very limited way of thinking, but it makes sense because Lakshmi is always at the feet of the Lord, always serving the Lord. Or if any of you know an avatar, maybe you're pretty lucky. And if ever you get the chance to serve such a person with, like tea or something, that would also be considered Padaseva. Okay. But this is a very limited perspective of Padaseva. And of course it's extremely exclusive, this type of idea of Padaseva, because only Lakshmi is able to do Padaseva in Vaikuntha, and once every long time the Lord incarnates and we're able to serve him directly. I'll get to attempting to convert others. I'll get to that in a bit. Okay. But of course, if we saw Padaseva as such an exclusive, such a limited perspective, then no one would be able to do Padaseva. Then why should we even talk about it? It's just like dangling a carrot in front of you, and too bad, right? But actually, the Lord incarnates in several ways. And one of them is Antaryami, in the heart of the beings, as Paramatma, as the essence of our essence. Okay. I know often when we say Atma, we think of a ball of light, right? But that's that's not really it. The truth is the Atma is our essence. We say our true self, but even what does that mean? Like, like what that's hard to comprehend. In my opinion, one of the best words is essence, the essence of myself. And the Lord is the essence of my essence. That's the Paramatma. Okay. So he is everywhere. That means I can serve him in the people. This is Padaseva, to serve the Lord in the people. Okay, so this is a little bit confusing, and I'm going to be sort of splitting hairs for a little bit. So bear with me, but it's very important. Often Padaseva is serving the people, but that's not totally true. Okay, it's serving the spiritual needs of the people. So, for example, often it's said like, okay, like if someone's a doctor, for example, or no, someone that you love, they're sick. What do you make them? You make them soup, right? Um, I always find this funny. In Germany, they at least here, if someone's sick, you'd bring them Sprite. In Wisconsin, we bring them Sprite if someone is sick, right? In in Germany, it's always Coca-Cola. Like if you're sick, you bring Coca-Cola. Is it like that in Slovenia also? Ish? No, no. She says no. In Germany, it's like you bring them Coke, and I'm just like, really? Oh, okay. Anyways, so if someone's sick, you bring them some food to make them feel better, and some would say that's Padaseva. We don't not say that, okay? Unless the intention is to help them upon their spiritual path. Now, obviously, if someone is sick, having them get healthy so they can, express their bhakti so that they can proceed on the spiritual path. Yes, it is. Obviously, these two things are aligned, right? Obviously, right? But I can say supporting someone practically is not always what is best for them spiritually, right? When the kids grow up and they move out, sometimes you got to cut them off. They need to grow up, right? Right, Amrita Dasi? Her son just moved out. So like, but it's genuine. Sometimes when we our heart wants to support someone practically, but it is in actuality not good for them in their spiritual growth. And you can see this with Guruji. He is a master at always serving us spiritually. Yes, often it is also practical, for sure. But if it does not support the person spiritually, he will not do it. Because the spiritual path is not one lifelong. It is many lifelong. It is all lifelong, actually, right? And so we need to learn what we need to learn. And if we don't learn it now, we'll have to learn it later anyways. And so Padaseva is always supporting the soul of the person. Now the question is how should I know when am I supporting the person or not? Like maybe I don't know if you guys have to deal with this, but like as a Swami, I'm constantly dealing with this, right? I'm like, people ask me questions. I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do I say to that? And okay, the answer is very easy, actually. Just tell them to do japa and have faith. It's very easy, actually. but like people they're constantly coming and asking for advice. And fair enough, as the swamis and swaminis, that's our duty. But how do I know what's going to come out of my mouth is actually good for them? Right? That's the question. Now, Guruji, he always knows. We can guarantee when he gives us advice, it is good for us spiritually. 100%. And if we follow that process which he's going to put us through, it will get us closer to the Lord, guaranteed, 100%. However, how can we do that? Especially with our friends and family. Well, we must first perform padaseva for ourselves, you see. And that means that, like, for example, let's say you've had a long week, you're tired, you're exhausted, okay? There's nothing wrong with turning on Netflix and watching, a movie or something and just relaxing. There's no problem with that. No one's taking any vows of anti-Netflix, so it's fine. No big deal, okay? But listen to your heart. And sometimes your heart will definitely be like, nah, this isn't what is right. No, I should go do something positive. I should go do something spiritual. I should do my jopam. I should do my kriya. That's what will actually help me right now. And only by being able to listen to that, and that is that's the intellect, actually. That's the intuition inside. The intellect is like a sword. It always tells us what is best and what is not so good. Never tells us what is bad. The intellect doesn't judge anything, okay? But it's like a sword. What is good for me and what is not so good for me? What is good for me will always be spiritual. It'll always help me on my spiritual path. And what is not so good will also help me on the spiritual path, but later, after lots of suffering. It's fine. But it'll also get me there. Okay? So that's why it's not bad. It'll still get me there. I'll just suffer a bunch. So, being able to know that for myself, being able to be sincere and strong in my path, have deep roots in my path, helps me to perform proper padaseva. Does that make sense? And as a sangha, this is very important because sangha means family, right? So we're the Bhakti Marga family, right? We feel connected to Guruji. We're the Bhakti Marga family. But often what happens is that we bring expectations of the blood family to the spiritual family. Don't do that, because it is going to set you up for suffering. Because our duty as a spiritual family is to support each other spiritually, to constantly infuse each other with positivity, constantly infuse each other with faith, not necessarily, open our house to someone because they're going through a difficult time. Okay, that is an expectation that we can have of our blood family. But just because I wear orange doesn't mean you should do that for me. If it's good and you feel it from your heart, great. But if you don't, then don't do it. Does that make sense? So in the spiritual family, we are here to support each other spiritually. That's padaseva. Okay? That is taking care of the Lord in the hearts of the people. And because Guruji said, out of all of the forms of bhakti, padaseva is the one that makes him the happiest, actually. Why? Because by performing padaseva, we're bringing the bhaktas back to him, you see. The whole reason Bhagavan exists is to have a relationship. There's no, if the Lord didn't want a relationship, he wouldn't create a form. He'd just be like the supreme consciousness, and we would be traveling around Maya for all eternity and never get out of it. But no, he produces Bhagavan. He manifests as Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the name of the Lord, which means the one who's endowed with all divine qualities. So we say Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan Narasimha, Bhagavan Rama, right? Bhagavan Paramahamsa Vishwananda. Like it's a name and a title, okay? Bhagavan Cheta. I'm teasing. Okay, so never mind. I have some good stories about Guruji. We'll tell them later. And we're having an amazing discussion, actually. When I was in New York City last week, it was so good. One of the guys there is Jewish, and I was talking about, there's, forms in every religion. And he was like, no, not in Judaism. And I was like, oh, really? But don't you have many names? He goes, yes, we have many names. And I said, well, then that would denote that you have a form. And he goes, no. And I was like, they don't denote different qualities? And he goes, no. He said, so they're all equal synonyms. He goes, yes. And he goes, but what's cool in Judaism is that you can, if you are upset with your life, you can go to God and you can yell at him and be very angry with him. Yeah. And he must listen. And I said, well, then he has a form. Then he must have form, because that means even if it's not a form like we would say, like in Vaishnavism, like, Nadasimha, we can see him, we can draw him, right? We can sculpt him. That God has an intention to listen and to support means that God has personality, you see. And those qualities, those personality denotes form. Okay? Because it's not, form does not just mean physical form, which we can see in our eyes. It also means energetic quality, right? Like the form of the color red is not the same as the form of the color green. You see? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So, what was I talking about before all that? Bhagavan. So the whole point of Bhagavan existing is to have a relationship with us. Okay. Otherwise, he wouldn't exist. You understand? And so that means he's longing for the bhaktas. He's longing for the souls. And from his perspective, everybody, please, you must place this into your mind and your heart. From the Lord's perspective, everyone is his bhakta. Everyone is his bhakta. Even the random person walking on the street that seems not spiritual or very selfish. From the Lord's perspective, he loves everybody the same. We become happy and we begin to thrive in our life when we accept our eternal bhakta nature. That's really the only difference between us and them. Yeah, from an atheist walking down the street or something, that's maybe a very terrible person, doesn't believe in God, very selfish, whatever. The only difference between them and us is that we accept our eternal nature as a bhakta. Right? They haven't yet, and that's why they are inevitably suffering. That makes sense? So, to quote Guruji, if you bring someone to the spiritual path, if you bring someone to their guru, the amount of grace you will receive will be so much that even if you become jiva mukta in this lifetime, you still will not understand the grace you have received. Only when you've entered Vaikuntha. That is how precious it is to bring someone to the spiritual path or to bring someone to their guru. Because the Lord is longing for each soul so much. We can do all of the meditation we want. We can do all of the sadhana we want. We can do all the 72-hour yagnas we want, which we're going to do many. But it still will not equal bringing even a single soul to the Lord. Have that grace of the Guru. This is why it's the nature of the bhakta to bring the bhaktas, to bring people to the Lord. It's our nature. Because when you love someone, you want them to be happy, right? The Lord is happiest when he's with his bhaktas. So it is our nature to bring the bhaktas to the Lord, because that's what makes him happy. Right? So pada seva is okay. So many years ago, I was in Bellingham, and I was about to leave to go back to SPN, and in like a couple days after that, and we went to this I'll just be honest. I went to this Hare Krishna temple, yeah, and so I walk in because I was teaching downstairs, like in this building, underneath, and the temple was upstairs, and the wife of the main pujari comes running down and is like, "Oh, Swamiji, please come. We heard you were here. Please come have darshan of our temple." I said, "Okay, thank you." They didn't know I was there yesterday, but that's fine. So I go up and I'm acting like I wasn't there, And I walk in, and the main pujari, her husband, is sitting with his back against the wall, and the murtis are in front of him. And I'd never seen someone do their japa like this, because he was like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And I'm like, holy shit! Like, well, why are you doing your japa like that? Like, why shouldn't you have some joy chanting the Lord's name? Okay, not my business. He's not Guruji's devotee, so I just pranam and say, Hare Krishna, and I bow down. They had amazing, beautiful tulsi, I must say. Their tulsi was so big and beautiful. Oh my God, amazing. Anyway, so I bow down to say hi to her, and I'm about to leave, and he goes, Prabhuji, sit. And I say, okay, well, I do have a couple of minutes. So I sit down. He goes, tell me, what sampradaya are you from? And I say, oh, well, we have our source in Ramanujacharya. Yes. Sri Sampradaya, we accept. And I say, wow, I'm very happy. Happy you accept me and my life. That's so great. Such a lovely person. Tell me. I'm not exaggerating. This is really how he was acting. I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. Tell me, how do you worship Krishna? I said, well, Prabhuji, not everyone has the grace as you do to be pujari. So for us, we very much focus on padaseva, because as you know, the Lord is Paramatma, the Lord Antaryami. So we really look after the bhaktas. But tell me, what if you have not studied the Shastra and you make a mistake in your service? What then? Honestly, I didn't know what to say. I'm gonna be honest. I was just like, whoa. Like I don't know. Like we don't think like that. You know what I mean? In Bhakti Marga, Guruji doesn't talk like that. You know what I mean? So I was just like, whoa. And I was like, well, Krishna is merciful enough. His mercy is infinite that even if we make a mistake, he'll, work his magic, everything will be fine. And of course, now because I'm leaning on Krishna's mercy, he can't debate that, So he goes, Anyways, long story short, he said he didn't love his wife. His wife started bawling her eyes out, ran out. It was crazy. Okay, it was crazy, and I was like, I gotta go. Bye. It was some. I don't know. It was crazy. Anyways, a couple days later, or maybe even the next day or something, I arrived back in SPN. It was really close to the end of my trip, and like, bam. And as soon as Guruji sees me, he goes, "Tell me, did you meet anybody interesting?" And I laughed. I said, "Oh yes, Guruji." He said, "Yes, tell me." And he stopped everything and he just sat and listened. Yeah. And so I'm telling him about the whole trip, and then I get to this guy, yeah. And I get to the point where he brings up, well, what if you don't study the Shastra, and what if you make a mistake in your service? And Guruji got really excited and he goes, "And what did you say?" I said, "Guruji, exactly. See, I actually didn't know the answer, because I was like, you don't talk like that." And he goes, "Okay, but what'd you say?" And I said, well, that Krishna's mercy is so great that even if we make a mistake, he'll make it all okay. He goes, "Wrong." And I went, "I knew it. What's the answer, Guruji?" "You cannot make a mistake in your service." Nice answer, Guruji. Nice answer. Yeah. We cannot make a mistake. Okay. It is about one's intention. And so if our intention is to serve the people and to help them get closer to God, it will help them. Of course, the outcome might not necessarily be what we want. Of course, like, let's be honest, everyone has their journey. But whatever positivity we put out there, whenever we encourage someone to chant the Lord's name, whenever we encourage someone to that the Lord is with them, that the Lord will take care of them, even if they don't want to hear it, it will be a seed in their heart. So never shy away from sharing your conviction. it makes the Lord happy. I'm not saying we should shove it down their throats. Okay. I'm not saying like, that's something else. Don't be a zealot. Don't be crazy. Okay. But if someone is coming to you, a friend or family, and they're having a difficult time, listen to them and say, okay, I hear you. Heads up. I'm a bhakta. So if you come to me for advice, you're going to get it in a certain way. And if you don't want that, that's okay. But then don't come to me. And I definitely I make it a habit to preface, like when people call me, especially people that I don't know. Sometimes, like, you guys will give my number to someone, which is fine. Please do so. And a person will call, never met them before, I don't know them, and I preface it when they tell me about their life. Like this one lady called a couple years ago. Her daughter is in life for prison for attempted murder. Her mom is convinced she didn't do it. Um, her mother has dementia, and she's taking care of her, and she is had breast cancer. And she just lost her job. Okay, I can't just be like, don't worry, everything will be okay. What is that? Yeah. And so I sat and listened to her. I mean, I'm not even joking. I started crying listening to like how difficult her life was. I was genuinely praying for her. This was intense. And after some time, her explaining everything, I took a deep breath and I said, okay, but please understand, I'm a monk. So I'm definitely going to give you advice that you won't hear normally. And so please don't be upset with me if I say something which you don't like. And of course, actually she said, well, that's why I called you. Like, I'm not getting any answers anywhere. So, and of course, long story short, reincarnation, karma, and the Lord loves you. The Lord is helping. Like, don't never lose your faith. There's reasons why everything is happening. And we did japa together. It was really beautiful. And so that is Padaseva. That's Padaseva, is constantly reminding each other here in the Sangha. We should practice. It should be a tapasya amongst ourselves that we're constantly reminding each other of what a wonderful life we have. What a great life. Like there's no reason for any of us to be upset or to be depressed. Like we have how many people in the world can say that they've met an incarnation of the divine? Not so many. And how many people can say that they feel that the Lord exists and that the Lord loves them? Not so many, actually. We are all so blessed. And that is an important tapasya that we should have amongst each other. That we are constantly reminding each other what a wonderful life we have. And that everything will be okay. Actually, no, I take that back. It will not be okay. It will be better than okay. The result will always be Vaikuntha. The result will be, you know what Vaikuntha is? Vaikuntha is the place and the state where we're able to express our love completely, express ourselves completely, without any borders, without any suppression. That is amazing. That's amazing. And that freedom, that joy, that bliss, that ananda is waiting for us. And I'm certain everyone here has experienced that a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, we all have. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And so to be clear, we're not saying like have blind faith, don't question, You know, you're so stupid for questioning. You're so stupid for having doubts. No, we don't think like that at all. We say, well, actually, based on my experience, I've already had this much, so I can know, I can have faith that it's going to be even greater in the future. Right? So, Padaseva, everybody. Does anybody here want to live a life full of drama and confusion? Raise your hand if you want like lots of drama in your life. Nope, no one. No one's raising their hand. Great. Great. So raise your hand if you want joy and happiness and peace in your life. Yeah, everybody. Everybody's raising their hand. I love it. I love it. Okay, everybody. So then want to know what? We should make a little pact here in our Sangha, and to say, everybody, we all will support each other in being peaceful and positive and joyful. We're not going to go and spread negativity and make drama and spread doubt. We're going to spread faith. We're going to spread happiness and joy. But how can I spread joy if I don't have joy? Not possible. So I must be joyful first myself. I must be happy first myself. Then I can spread happiness. I must first have faith to spread faith. You see, I must have a relationship with the Lord to remind you that you also have a relationship with the Lord. If I didn't know I have a relationship with the Lord, I would, you talk to me about things, I'll say, oh yes, Elon Musk, this or that. I'll give some crazy answer, which is useless. This is the power of the Sangha, everybody. This was actually someone, I was talking on the phone with a devotee today, and they said, recently Guruji said, spend time with strong bhaktas. It's amazing, because Guruji did not say spend time with all the bhaktas. He never said that. He said spend time with the strong bhaktas. The bhaktas who want to be positive, who want to be joyful, who want to have faith. These are the people to spend time with. Because of course, we're all on the path. There's some bhaktas that are, still over there. And that's fine. That's fine. We all were there too, to be clear. Right? So there's no judgment. But if they don't want to transform themselves and change, well then, that's cool. Pray for you. Spend time with strong, happy bhaktas. Bhaktas that constantly speak about the Lord, that constantly talk about how beautiful Narasimha is. He's the most beautiful. How beautiful Tulsi is. She's the most beautiful. Don't debate me. I'll win. No, I'm joking. I'm extremely biased. It's fine. Constantly remind each other how beautiful the Lord is. This is Padaseva, everyone. And this has nothing to do if you're a Swami, you're a Rishi, Brahmachari, devotee, follower. It has nothing to do with that. Swami Chitta said it very beautifully recently. He said, actually, he was knowingly or unknowingly paraphrasing Guruji. Many years ago, Swami Revati asked Guruji, what is the best number? How do you say? No, how do you measure a good how do you measure a good bhakta, Guruji, a good devotee? And he said, easy. How many other devotees have they brought me? So what? Like, Guruji, he doesn't care about those things. But wait, it was like mind blowing. Like, what? That just seems so counterintuitive, because Guruji's not like that. But the point is that, and Swami Chitta, we were talking the other day. He goes, for me, if a devotee is able to bring even one other devotee, these are people I spend time with. If they're unable to bring any devotees, I don't spend time with them. You want to know what? I completely agree. Because if we are able to bring devotees, that means that we're already mature people. We're mature adults. that have lots of faith, and we're joyful, happy people. We don't have to have all the knowledge. We don't have to be able to, quote the Gita like Nishkala. Today, Kalpat was like, chapter 13, verse 34, and Nish like quoted it, and I was like, this is amazing. Honestly, it was amazing. So we don't have to do that. Okay. You don't have to know all the mantras to perform a puja, abhishekam, or yagna. You don't have to be able to sing. All that is asked for is that you are positive, you're joyful, and you have faith. That's it. That's it. That's strength. That's strength. That's the strength of character. And if we're unable to do that, if I don't have the joy, if I don't have the maturity, if I don't have the faith, then I can't bring anybody, because people are going to be like, that dude's crazy. He's just drama all the time, negativity all the time. I don't want to spend any time with him. What kind of spirituality is he following? What kind of religion is he following? Look how much he's just suffering all the time. Right? Right? That's some hard truths, but it is the truth. Right? But we bring bhaktas when we are happy, joyful people. It is a direct mirror. It is a direct mirror. And so that's why Guruji was like, easy. I can tell if they're good bhaktas because if they brought people. Well, it's not about bringing the people. It's actually, it's a reflection of themselves. Another time, I'm a Kriya teacher asked Guruji, which I have to say, man, like, beautiful, she asked. She said, Guruji, I've been trying to bring lots of people to Kriya, but it's so difficult for me. Like, I'm unable to get anyone to learn Kriya. What should I do differently? Wow. Like, she put herself out there in front of all of the Atma Kriya teachers. And Guruji said, well, it's because you're too pushy. People run from you because you push them. These bhaktas don't run after the people. The flowers don't run after the bees. The bees run after the flowers. So be a flower, and the bees will come. So be a happy, joyful person full of faith, full of this relationship with the Lord. Every time you think of the Lord, you think, Lord, I love you. You feel this thing inside of your heart. And then you remind yourself, wait, but what I'm feeling right now, the burning I feel in my heart right now, you feel 1,000 times more, my Lord. That is wild. That is what a bhakta thinks. 20 times a day is not even enough. A bhakta thinks that 100,000 times a day. Every time they think of the Lord, they say, oh my God, Lord, how much you love me? I can't understand. You're so great, my Lord. And that's what the bhaktas spread. That's Padaseva, everybody. You want to make your devata happy? You want to make your guru happy? Be the flower. Because then automatically you will bring the people to God. Again, that doesn't mean that we say that we bring the people to bhakti marga. Okay? No, sometimes people just need a little bit of faith. Maybe their path isn't bhakti marga. Maybe their path isn't Guruji, and that's fine. It's more than fine. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Everyone has their own path. So we're not zealots. We're not like bhakti marga is the only way and Guruji's the best and everyone else is terrible. And if you don't, have you accepted Paramahamsa Vishwananda as your Lord and Savior? We're not like that, okay? We're not like that at all. But we do stand by that the Lord loves everyone. And the Lord is willing and is ever eager to support and protect everyone. Everyone. He loves everyone. Okay, that's Padaseva. So, help support your spiritual brothers and sisters. Have faith, be positive, be joyful. And the people that aren't part of the spiritual family, still consider them to be part of the spiritual family, because they are, and encourage them to have faith by your example, and never shy away. If someone asks you for advice, quote the Gita, quote the Guru, and encourage them to do japa and remind them that God loves them. Okay? Don't shove it down their throat, though. That's weird. Because that's that step of the spiritual path, okay? So remember, smadana was you leave the group, and then you contemplate it, and you recognize like how you've changed, right? How good you feel. But what happens is when you feel really good at a certain path, what's the first thing we do? We run to our friends and family, say, "You need to come. This is amazing. Like, oh my God, everything I've ever wanted was in this path. I'm so happy. You have to come too." And of course, everyone's like, "Whoa, psycho," right? Like, chill, right? So don't. That's that step. We have to go through that step because we're not so grounded into our path yet. But part of us recognizes like, wow, when we have found our path, be it Bhakti Marga, be it a Catholic, be it Judaism, whatever it is, when we have found the path that really fulfills our heart, it is natural that we want to share it with others. But but what happens in the beginning is we share it in an immature way, and that's being as too zealous, and and then and then we're telling our parents that they shouldn't eat meat, they shouldn't drink, and blah 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 blah. That's their business. They can live their life. Yeah. If they ask us our opinion, tell the opinion, but don't shove it down their throat. Because then they're just going to run away. Maybe instead of telling them how to change, you could show them compassion and understanding, and then maybe they'll change. You see, yeah. Otherwise, it's just based on fear, right? And everybody can smell that a mile away. Make sense? Nice. Guys, it's already 9:30. And that was only one. I told you 9 hours. I told you. By the way, I found out the truth. It is 9:30 that it ends. And then you guys stick around for a little while. So Amrita Dasi was fibbing last week.
So
yeah.
Not technically fibbing. We stay there for 10. So we don't take the time for the later part. We finish at 10.
Funny. Well, actually, I do want to stop now.
Today also we can stay late.
Oh, yes. No, I think actually next week is going to be Archana Bhakti, which is puja, and that one's going to be long and beautiful. So unless you guys wanted to stay until 11, I don't. I think we'll pause here, okay? And we'll, because the next one is very beautiful, very wonderful, and actually perfect timing because it will be right before the 72-hour yagna. Yeah, so it's a perfect timing. Any questions about today? Were you bored? Were you not listening? I don't know. Everybody's just like.
You were just so clear, Swamiji. So thank you. That was amazing. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you. You're very sweet, both of you. Okay.
Looking forward to next week.
Yeah. So I hope you're all coming. I know you're not all coming, but I do at least you can participate on the live stream. I tell you guys, it's going to be amazing. And I found out next year, Narsima Chaturdashi is on Sunday. So that means Saturday, Friday, Thursday is going to be the yagna. So it's going to be even easier for everyone to join next year. So this year is actually just a prelude for next year. So you see how the Bhakta thinks? The Bhakta is already like, before we've done it, I'm already planning for the next one. You see? I'm always like, yes, bigger, better, faster. Like, let's do this for the Lord. It's going to be amazing. But I do really hope you're all coming. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. My God, it's going to be out of this world. Like, so many years ago, Rishi Radhika, he used to be in a jazz band, yeah, and a rock band in Germany. He's extremely talented. And so when he became a devotee, he would still travel and with his band, and they were at a Coachella type of festival in Germany. And he was rocking on his electric guitar, and like he was just looking at everybody, and he was like, why am I here? Like, I don't want to be here. Guruji's giving darshan like just a few hours away. Why am I here? I mean, I get it's my duty, but seriously. So he just started screaming Om Namo Narayanaya at the top of his lungs. And of course, everyone went wild because they thought he was like going, because they couldn't hear him, because he wasn't on the mic. So he was just screaming. And everyone thought he was like totally into the music, but he wasn't. He was just like screaming the Lord's name. He got back a couple days later to the ashram and was talking to Guruji. And he said, yeah, Guruji, like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. So I just started screaming, the Lord's name. And Guruji laughed and he said, very good. Because even when as soon as someone hears the Lord's name even once, their path is assured. And like, imagine sitting in a place where 72 hours there is chanting Ugram Viram Mahavishnam Jwalatam Savatomkam Narisimam Vishanam Badram Rityom Rityom Namamyam. You know what this mantra is? It is an affirmation of the Lord's love for us, that he will look after and protect. He is actively, wildly active in our lives. And every person we pray for, every person we think of, every person in the area, every person in the world, because it's a prayer for the world. Imagine the transformation that you will go through, and the area and the world. Like, it is incomprehensible. Like how, like, you will not be the same person when you leave. It's impossible. You'll be a different person. So I'm really hoping that you're all coming, because also it's just lovely to see you, lovely to pray with you. If not, it'll be live streamed so you can watch it from home. But if not this year, then next year. Nice. So can't wait for the yagna. God, nice. All right, everybody. Gute Nacht. Schlaf gut. I have to remember my German since all the Germans are coming. I'm joking. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Prem so Tulsi Parniti Narshingadeva ki. Prem so Jagat Janani Lakshmi Mata ki. Prem so Rukni Pandaringa Maharaj ki. Prem so Ramanujacharya ki. Prem so Mafta Kriya Baba ji ki. Prem so Dakshineshwari Kali Mata ki. Prem so Prabha Lakshmi Mata ki. Prem so Navadurga Mata ki. Prem so Premata Shri Swami Vishwananda Mahaprabhu ki. Bucked is key.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Swami Dick.